Lesson 6.4 is standard form. Now, in your notes, title this standard form, and then I want you to put this in here. Standard form of a linear equation is ax plus by equals c. So, in your notes, you have slope-intercept form, which is y equals mx plus b. And that's what we've done a lot in pre-algebra and now in algebra. And then now you have standard form, which is capital AX plus capital BY equals C. Completely different, however, they both represent linear equations. So they're both ways of writing the same equation. So it's two ways to write one equation, and I'll show you that when we get into this. You can use the x and y intercepts to make a graph. The x-intercept is the x-coordinate of the point where a line crosses the x-axis. To graph a linear equation in standard form, you can find the x-intercept by substituting 0 for y and solving for x. Similarly, to find the y-intercept, you substitute 0 for x and solve for y. So they show you this here. Now, so if it says, find the x and y intercepts of this equation, okay? So that means if I were to draw this graph, okay, here's my graph. Let's pretend that it's this right here. Well, we'll move this a little bit, okay? Let's pretend that it is that red line. Now, the x-intercept is where it hits the x-axis right here, and the y-intercept is where it hits the y-axis right there. So you're going to find each. Now, in order to find the x-intercept, I'm going to put 0 in for y because I want x. So what happens is you get 4 times 0 is 0, so then you get 3x equals 8, so x equals 8/3. And then if I put 0 in for x, I find out y is 2. So then I'd have both my x-intercept and my y-intercept, and I could graph this really easily. Because I would go on the x-axis, 8 over 3 is 2 2/3, so I'd go to 2 2/3, I'd make a dot. And then y is 2, and I'd make a dot, and then I'd connect those two dots, and then I'd draw on my graph. So find the x and y intercepts of this equation. Okay, so I have 4x minus 9y equals negative 12. So I'm going to do 4x minus 9 times 0 is negative 12. So 4x equals negative 12. Divide by 4. So x equals negative 3. So I have my x-intercept. Now I have 4x minus 9y equals negative 12. 4 times 0 minus 9y is negative 12. So negative 9y is negative 12, and then I divide by negative 9. So y equals 12/9, and then I can divide each by 3, so 4/3. And it's positive because it's a negative and a negative. So y equals 4/3. So I could graph that again really quickly just by making a dot at 4/3 and a dot at negative 3, both on the x and y axis, and connect them. So graphing using the intercepts. So this is what I just was kind of telling you about. So you have graph 2x plus 3y equals 12 using the intercepts. So here they found out what their intercepts are. X is 6 and y is 4. And then they went over here on the x-axis, they made a dot at 6, and on the y, they made a dot at 4, and then they connected them. So pretty simple. So try this one on your own. So if I have 5x plus 2 times 0 is negative 10. So 5x equals negative 10. So x equals negative 2. And then I have 5 times 0 plus 2y equals negative 10. So 2y equals negative 10, so y equals negative 5. and then I draw my graph. X is here, and that's at -2, so I'm going to make a dot there. And Y is here, and that's at -5, make a dot there, and then I'm going to connect them. Does not have to be perfect. If you don't have graph paper, that's fine. You can just sketch it like I did right in your notebook. That's completely fine. Okay, graphing horizontal and vertical lines. So make sure you write this in your notes. The graph of y equals -3, okay, looks like this. It goes through the y-axis at -3. It is a horizontal line. It goes through the y. This is how I remember it. It has to go through the y. If you're telling me y is -3, that's right there. My line has to go through that. Okay? Here, if x is a +2, I find 2 on my x-axis, and then my line has to go through that point. It wouldn't go the other way because it wouldn't lay on top of x. It has to be through all the x's of 2's, which if you write it next to it, x is a horizontal line. It's kind of the opposite of the axis, so it cuts it. So graph each of these equations, A, B, C, and D. So if y equals 5, this is my y-axis, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and my line is going to go through that, so it would be, this is y equals 5. If y equals 0, 0 is right here. It goes through the y, so that is just the x-axis. So this is y equals 0. X is -4. So this is my x-axis. So -4 is right here. So then my line goes like this. X equals -4. And then if x is 0, here's my x-axis. If that's 0, then it would just go through it. It would be on the y-axis. All right, transforming to standard form. So you have an equation that you've seen 100 times. Y equals 3/4 x plus 2. That is in our normal y equals mx plus b form. Now they want you to change it so it's in standard form. Okay? So what you're going to do is you're going to get x and y essentially on the same side. Okay? So what they did is first they wanted to clear the fraction. So what they said is, okay, this is 3/4. I want to multiply this whole side by 4 and this side by 4 because I want to clear that fraction. So then what happens is those cancel out and I get 3x plus 8 because you have to distribute that to the 2. And then you minus 3x. So then you get -3x plus 4y equals 8. The standard form of y equals 3x plus 2, or 3/4 x plus 2, is -3x plus 4y equals 8. So, try this one in standard form using integers. Here's the key word, using integers. No fractions. A fraction is not an integer. An integer is a positive or negative whole number. So you have to get rid of that fraction. So try this. So you have y equals -2/5 x plus 1. So what I'm going to do is multiply both sides by 5. So then you get 5y equals -2x plus 5. These 5's cancel out, and then I distribute. And then I'm going to add 2x to both sides. So then I get 2x plus 5y equals 5. So that is my standard form. All right, write an equation in standard form to find the minutes someone who weighs 150 pounds would need to bicycle and swim laps in order to burn 300 calories. Use the data below. So, an activity by a 150-pound person, bicycling, they burn 10 calories per minute. Bowling, they burn 4. Hiking, they burn 7. Running, they burn 11. Swimming, they burn 12. And walking, they burn 3.5. So, this is, your X is the minutes spent bicycling, and Y is the minutes spent swimming laps. So, bicycling is 10, and swimming laps is 12. So they just picked 2, and then they made them into their A and their B. So 10x plus 12y equals 300 calories. So this equation in standard form is this, 10x plus 12y equals 300. Because if you look back here, they said bicycle and swim laps. So now, write an equation in standard form to find the minutes someone who weighs 150 pounds would need to bowl and walk to burn 250 calories. So try that one. Okay, so bowling is 4 and walking is 5. So what you would have is 4x plus 5y, and you want it to equal 250 calories. So that is it for your notes.